I think one of the greatest innovations in the world of food is one-pot cooking. It simplifies cooking, allows you to use lots of vegetables and healthy ingredients, saves on dishes, and it's so tasty. On the other hand, it's not always easy to understand the proportions of everything, and that's why I'm here. Peanut butter curry noodles is one of my favorite recipes to make because honestly, it's very hard to mess it up. I cut vegetables into medium-sized cubes and sauteed them for a few minutes before adding the coconut milk. The cooking will mainly take place in the coconut milk. I like to use root vegetables, zucchini, broccoli, and tofu in this recipe. It's like a mix of vegetables you'd put in a soup, just cooked in a coconut peanut curry. First, I heat oil in a pot over a medium-high heat and add the curry paste to create a base for frying the vegetables and coating them before cooking. I add ginger and saute for a minute or two. I add the onion, wait for it to soften a bit, and then add the sweet potato cubes. In the meantime, I prepare the sauce, which I recommend making in advance before starting frying. It's not the entire sauce, but its base, the essence, with miso, peanut butter, spices. I add coconut milk to it, but I also add more coconut milk and water to the dish later. After frying for 2 minutes and covering the sweet potatoes, I gradually add the rest of the vegetables and tofu. After further frying and covering the rest of the vegetables and tofu, I add the sauce. I add water to the sauce bowl, pour it into the pot, and bring it to a boil. After boiling, I stir and add part of the coconut milk, cover and bring to a second boil. After the second boil, I add the rice noodles. If I can't feed them anymore, I'll add more coconut milk. I'll close the lid for a minute, then open and stir every minute or so. Stir and add coconut milk. I toast cashews until browned for garnish and crunchiness, and of course the sweet salty taste. It is pretty spicy, but I'm not a huge spicy fan, so if you fancy it, you can add more. I bought rice for risotto and also happened to soak quinoa. Then I realized that the other two recipes are with rice, so I thought, why not make quinoa risotto instead? And I'm glad I did. The main ingredients in this dish are 3 types of mushrooms and zucchinis, yellow and green. Basically, the process is very similar to making regular quinoa. Just before frying the quinoa, I sauteed the vegetables. I sauteed the quinoa a bit with the vegetables and add water, 1.5 cups of water for each cup of quinoa. I cook it over low heat for 20 minutes. Then I add a cup of vegan cooking cream. I stir and add a few thyme leaves and a very small amount of nutmeg butter. On top, I sprinkle vegan parmesan and a teaspoon of olive oil. The taste is so rich, the texture is sticky, and it is just amazing. Next is one of my favorite dishes to eat. It's not completely a one-pot dish if you count the white rice on the side, but it's relatively quick, and it's a dish I think everyone should know how to cook. Inspired by Indian tomato coconut curry. I used baked tofu cubes, also known as tofu puffs, which absorb the sauce and are really soft without falling apart. You can also use any firm tofu you find. Don't worry about the pot's bottom getting dirty and spices sticking to it. When we add the liquids, it will merge with the sauce and be completely absorbed. The process is quite similar to the first dish. I saute vegetables in curry and gradually add the coconut milk. I had a bit of an issue with the recording, and unfortunately I didn't film the addition of the tomato sauce and paste, but all the ingredients and quantities are detailed below. I like to serve the dish alongside rice. It can also be eaten with Indian bread or quinoa, brown rice. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please let me know.